episode, we talked to Michael Speach from the Speach Family Candy Shoppe about being in business for 96 years. Doesn't he look good?
And we eat a ton of chocolate.
Hey everybody, this is Ben Riley and welcome to the next episode of A Week in the Life. As always, I'm here with
Jason Emerson.
And our very special guest,
Michael Speach.
From the Speach Family Candy Shoppe. He wanted to make sure. He was smacking me before the episode to make sure that I had that correct.
Well, you have to make sure, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And he brought candy, as you can see before us. That looks fantastic. And I have so many questions.
Go ahead.
Because it looks so cool. I went on the website. So, you've been in business since 1920.
Yep.
You are fourth generation.
You look terrific for your age.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All the preservative in the shop.
That's right. So, I don't even know where to begin. It's just so cool. So, the website looks amazing. The photos, I mean, it looks like the walls were pink, right? I mean, it looks like a big candy shop, almost like a Willy Wonka. It just looks like so much fun. I want to go and just check it out.
Yeah.
So, tell us about the candy shop and how have you been in business this long? And
to be totally honest, it's a surprise to me too. Sometimes
It's honest.
The idea that my great grandfather started it is one of the things I try really hard to kind of think of when I'm like having a hard day. The fact that he started up as his own first business. He was first generation off the boat, immigrant from Italy.
And his name was Michael as well, right?
His name was also Michael. Yeah.
Cool.
And the fact that he was able to bring it to a whole new level and that it supported his family of 10 was really impressive, and it made it through the Depression and through the wars and was continuing, and to this day is still here.
Wow.
So it's kind of it's frightening, and yet it's kind of exciting at the same time.
Right.
So did the subsequent generations always know they were going to be in the chocolate business, or I'm sure there's some of them that said, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go run and go do my own thing. Right. Or was it always just kind of a known in the family?
To be totally honest with I think the entire family was very involved when it first started out, and over the years it just passed through hands. So I know it went back and forth between some of my great uncles and aunts, and they all were a part of it at some point in time. Whether they were out delivering or actually selling or part of the actual candy making process. My parents actually fell into it because they actually found a whole bunch of his old recipes that other family members had forgotten about. They were still written in Italian, so they decided to bring it up when they took over in the 80s. And then actually I was one of the people that didn't want to do the candy at all.
Oh, really?
So all throughout high school and grade school, I wanted nothing to do with it. I actually went into entertainment and theater for my actual degree. And then when I actually went and did that and found out that I hated it, it fell into my lap that I actually really missed the candy and being a part of that process. And then I took over in 2007.
Wow. So are your recipes, are they all of them, or a number of them are the original ones that your parents found?
A number of them are. Some of the cream fillings that we do for like some of the our chocolate creams, the assorted miniatures, some of those are. My great-grandfather's peanut brittle recipe is the same one that we use today, other than the fact that instead of using 50 pounds of peanuts, I'm using 7 cups in a batch, because of the much smaller batches.
Right.
And I'm assuming he was buying, bags and bags of peanuts back then, and, pricing and inflation has changed that a little bit.
Exactly.
So the only thing that's a little bit different is the actual chocolate itself. We actually make our own blend of chocolate, so it's not like we're using a big bar and melting it down. We're actually taking several different products and mixing them together before we actually work with the chocolate.
And you do that on site, right?
And we do that right on site.
Very
That's
cool.
fantastic. And is it the same? So you were on, so everybody knows you were on Lodi
Yeah,
Street?
on the corner of Court and Lodi.
Okay. Is that the original location from your great-grandfather's?
My great-grandfather's house was actually further down on Lodi, and that's where he started. It was actually started in the front room of his house, basically,
Really?
which is closer to Doloro's, closer to the actual downtown area on Lodi. And this building, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but has been in the family for generations. So it's kind of nice that we've had like an old home basically, which is kind of cool.
That's like the quintessential small business story. You know,
Absolutely.
Start it in the front room of your house and move on from there. I love that. That's amazing.
So what's next for the Speach Family Candy Shop?
Well,
You guys are taking over the world, one candy at a time.
we're trying.
Okay.
Yes. We're growing, which is great. We're trying new things. We just got our first app, so now you can actually download an app on your iPhone or smartphone.
And what do we find on the Candy Shop app?
Well, any new products that we're going to be coming out with are going to be posted before everyone else gets them, so even before
neat.
Facebook. And then also we have a loyalty program and special coupons that only the VIP members are going to be able to get, which are people on the app. So
And you have one of your new products here, right?
Yep.
You were telling me
one of the newest one, that one right there.
Amaretto Cheers Brickle.
Amaretto
I'm just
Cheers.
waiting to dive into these.
I know.
Like, I'm trying to be polite.
I know. That's me too.
And Monica's like jumping over the camera to get to these things. I'm like waiting back and waiting to strike.
Yes. Can we open any of these?
Oh,
Or
please.
These
help
just
yourself.
for show. All right.
No, please.
Can we try the new one?
Yes.
I'm gonna be the one who opens it up.
Okay.
No,
So now is this? Did I hear or read somewhere? Chocolate covered potato chips. Is this your specialty? Right
that
here?
is what we've been known for the last 30 years, basically.
Yes.
Wow.
That's cool.
The chocolate potato chips. And actually, the containers are basically the same style containers that my parents started with back in the 80s.
Really?
So we've kind of kept that same look. A lot of people are like, well, why don't you put them in bags or why don't you put them in different boxes? I'm like, well, it's because the container is product. It's
Right.
part of what made it what it was.
So the old adage is, if you like ice cream, don't go working in the ice cream shop. Right?
Yep.
Do you eat this stuff?
Oh, yes.
You do.
Lots.
Is it like
Now, how are you
crazy?
not like 300 pounds, by the way?
Right.
I very rarely sit
Quit
down.
hoarding.
Wow.
This is actually the first time I've actually sat down other than driving here tonight. So we're actually always on our feet, always moving. And I think that that's one of the things. My cousin, who was working with me for a while, she actually lost like 30 pounds over the 2
Really?
years that she was working with me. And I'm like, see what happens? Come work at the candy store. You're
Right.
going to lose weight.
This
Love it.
is amazing.
It is good.
Yep, that one
Great.
is actually...
You want to try it, Monica?
Come on up and
Brand
try
Come on
it.
up and try it, Olivia, if you want to try it. I'm going to steal another one because it's so good.
That's amazing.
That is really
So how many
amazing.
different offerings? So the entire portfolio, how many different offerings are there? What sort of research and development do you do? How do you know when to stop? I mean, all of that stuff.
Well, my thing is I don't plan on stopping anytime.
Okay.
I love
Good for you.
creating
I like
something
that
new.
answer.
I like trying new things. I found that if you put yourself in a niche and you're not willing to grow, you're going to basically die.
Right.
And that's one of the real fears I have after being in business for 96 years. You know, what's the next step?
Right.
You know, when do you, and you have to kind of always kind of keep going. With the brickles, we've been having lots of fun because we get to be a little more creative with them. The fact that we now have over 55 different ones that we make.
Wow.
The Amaretto Cheers is the most recent, and that was actually one we came out with last week for a wine tasting that we went to. I
Really?
was actually trying to figure out what to pair with champagne, and someone was like, well, I used to drink champagne, like do a brut with a little bit of Amaretto in it, and I thought that would be a great idea.
That sounds
and
good.
That's where that idea came from.
How do you keep everything in stock? So I'm like an operations guy. Obviously, you have the still on right now, and we have 4 products that we make. With 55 in just the brickle, I mean, how quickly can you turn this out and keep things moving?
We actually, with my staff, we have 10 people on hand. Some of them are part-time, some of them are full-time, but everyone's got a really great work ethic, and so some of the people are like, you hand them a list and they will just complete that list, and that's where we're at. Some of these things take an hour total from the time we start melting the chocolate to the time we actually start packaging it. Other things like the truffles might take a little bit longer because they need a little bit more time, or they need to settle a bit longer.
What's the best thing about doing business in Syracuse?
I have to say the community.
Yeah.
Syracuse is a growing small business base, and the whole buy local movement has really, really enhanced it, I think. And the nice thing that I've noticed is that buy local doesn't mean just for the consumer. I'm trying very hard to find local distributors that are New York or Syracuse based that I can get product from, or I can try to get my labels from, or places like Life of Riley, who I can actually use their product in my product.
Yes.
Which is really
We'll get
great.
there.
Nice
We'll
segue.
get there.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
And I've actually really enjoyed that, and plus meeting the people and being part of that community, because all of a sudden then you're building a relationship with everyone. And
So do you have a lot of customers and relationships? Obviously, you're not just the city. You must go all around to the various suburbs, and obviously we're out here in CAZENOVIA right now. But how big does your clientele go? And I saw you on the web. You can order it on the web too.
You can
all
order
your candy.
online. We've shipped all over the country.
Wow.
We've shipped stuff overseas. We've shipped stuff to Canada. Some people get a little weird about the shipping, but then there's people that don't really care because they just want to get it there. So,
Wow, that's great.
But yeah, we're trying to expand as much as possible, and we're really looking forward to this year. Our big focus is focusing on wholesale to get our product out into other stores, other locations, because our season basically goes from November to Mother's Day. But everyone else, like resorts and more touristy areas like Alexandria Bay, their times are different than ours.
Right.
So just tap into them and see if there's a working relationship that we can get going there.
That's great.
So you're here on probably the busiest week of the entire year for you.
That's right.
So Valentine's coming up on Sunday, so we're actually going to air this episode a night before, because I'm sure you guys are going to be open on Sunday.
We are.
Right there on Lodi Street.
Yep, 9 to 5 that day.
9 to 5-ish, or 9 to 9?
9 to 5 until I sell out, or until I pass out from exhaustion, one or the other.
I love it. So, what these guys did for us, go ahead, you tell it. I'm not going to tell it. I'm just going to display it like Vanna.
Well, my mother actually came up with our truffle recipe, which we've been using for a few years now. A few decades now. But my mom developed the recipe. I actually, when I took over, really kind of pushed them a little bit more because it was such a great product that we actually decided to do a new line of them called the Top Shelf Truffles, where we only use high-end products in them, like the spirits, wines, liqueurs. We actually had someone wanted us to do a Cristal truffle, and that was fun buying that bottle. But we get to do a lot of that and have a little bit more fun because it can be very creative. We've done stuff with different companies. We've done stuff with different distributors that actually are releasing a new vodka or a new wine, and they want to do something for holiday gifts. So we get to have a lot more fun and be a little bit more custom and creative with it.
So this one is the raspberry vodka, our raspberry vodka.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight I am gifting a bottle of vanilla vodka to these guys to go try something else out, but I love the spirit of collaboration. I love the idea of melding two different small businesses and siphoning each other's audiences to each other.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just the whole spirit of what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So we've been talking for almost a year now. This was a collaborative effort that we tried last year, mm-hmm. and as we ramp up and get into our tasting room, we're just going to keep expanding that partnership. Mm-hmm. We love it.
That's one of the great things about small business, local entrepreneurship is just learning from each other, helping each other. I see that a lot in stories that I write for the newspaper. Now, forgive my ignorance, are there other candy shops in Syracuse?
There are. There's a few other smaller candy stores.
And do you guys work together, or do you kind of just do your own thing?
We kind of do our own thing. I know each one of us has our own strengths and weaknesses, and, well, not even weaknesses. I don't think any of us have a weakness. I just think we all do different things, and we do them differently. Mm-hmm. And it works for us. We actually, I think, are probably one of the largest inventory, because not only do we make all of our own chocolates, but then we have all the nostalgia product and the collectibles, and we try to get into the more novelty chocolates and candies too that are a little bit harder to find, like candy cigarettes and wax bottles and
remember the old cigarettes.
Yeah,
they still make those?
Oh yeah, I don't think
really?
they make those anymore.
They call them candy sticks though. They're not cigarettes anymore.
I remember being a kid on Halloween. You put them in your mouth. And I'm like, God, nowadays that would just be so.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
you'd be put in jail for giving your kid.
A bunch of 12-year-olds on the corner.
Yes. Or
they're candy sticks. It's okay.
The best part is around Halloween, you know how many people are going to dress up like they're coming from Greece or Jimmy Dean, and they have the whole the
pack of
candy stick locked up.
Yeah.
But
that's good. So you're trying to grow your business. How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way to do it? Either wholesalers or retailers or somebody watching us in Arizona that wants to order your stuff. Give us all the pertinent info.
Okay, well, you can always go to the website because that's 24 hours. You can go on there and order. All the shipping and everything is done right there. It's going to have a nice selection of our products, but it's not going to have everything.
Okay.
But the majority of the products we manufacture will be on there, but it won't have everything. You can always give us a phone call. We have a local number and a toll-free number. And then always email. I can't tell you how many people just email me a question and then it turns into an order. And I was looking for this. Do you have any idea? And then I was like, well, and I give them the information and then oh, great. Well, I'm also going to order this. Okay.
Hey, it all works out in the end, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
And you're open to more collaborative things.
I love doing it, actually.
Okay.
One of my main focuses this early spring, before Easter, I really want to try to reach out to a lot of local wineries and distilleries and breweries that want to do something collaborative, because there's a lot of great opportunity there. And because the nice thing is each product is different.
Right.
So even though it's the same, it might be the same concept, it's going to be something totally new and different for each individual company that I work with.
And if you own your own business or distillery or winery or brewery, I mean, we've talked about putting these in our tasting room too. So it's just something that we can't do, that's not within our normal scope of work, to be able to offer this to our clients when they come in the door too. So it's just it's a win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah, and I'm excited too, because we've also been approached by other big companies, I'm not going to mention who, but to do kind of some collaboration with like their pastry chefs and their actual
great.
like restaurants and stuff.
Oh, wow.
To actually do some stuff that we wouldn't ever have an opportunity if we weren't able to be more like lenient or be able to work with them with different ideas and different products. So it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Great things on the horizon, sounds like.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, we're going to link everything up underneath on the YouTube description. We'll get all that stuff from Michael. And at this point, we're going to delve into... Oh, we got to talk about the wine.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Talk about the wine.
We are drinking a California Meritage Fleur de Lathe, if I'm pronouncing that right. That was supplied to us by J.S. Hight and Sons.
Thank you,
Wine
Judith.
Shop. Thank you, Judith. She is on Albany Street in CAZENOVIA. She supplies all our wines, which is always fantastic. She has a great nose for a good wine.
And you gave me the one with the bum bottom.
Absolutely.
So I'm the big winner tonight.
I wanted you to spill
So we
again.
get the special prize.
I did. The first show we did, I'm over here fumbling because I spilled all my wine all over my pants. The first show we did, I'm soaked in
I never
wine.
noticed until you looped it on your...
Yeah, you just play you just play it off.
That's great.
We're professionals now at this point.
Right.
Right. So hang on to your wine. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having
bringing all
me.
this stuff.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see what you do with this thing.
I'm excited. I have some ideas. So
All right.
we'll be looking
And
forward
now
to
we're
it.
going to see you got to shoot some hoops, too, for charity.
For charity.
Cool.
Yep. No pressure, though.
Thanks.
That's it.